Hello students, up to now we have seen the effect of different capacitors like the effect of bypass capacitor, effect of the coupling capacitor and effect of the load capacitor. In this class, we are going to see the combined effect of these capacitors like the combined effect of the coupling and load capacitor as well as the combined effect of the coupling and bypass capacitor. If both the coupling and bypass capacitors are present, then what is the effect of that one? That we will discuss in this video. First, we are going to see the effect of coupling and load capacitor on the small signal voltage gain. This is the circuit which contains both the coupling capacitor as well as the load capacitor. We have taken one CE amplifier here which was driven by the voltage divider bias. Here Vi and Rs forms the signal source and its source resistance. Cc is called as the coupling capacitor and Cl is called as the load capacitor and RL is called as load resistor. And here Re is the emitter resistance and Rc is the collector resistance. R1 and R2 are forming voltage divider bias and the CE amplifier was driven by the two supply voltages. One is a positive supply voltage which was given to the collector terminal and one is the negative supply voltage which was given to the emitter terminal. A circuit with both a coupling capacitor and load capacitor is shown in the figure, and the small signal equivalent circuit for the CE amplifier is like this. So here we will start the small signal equivalent circuit from the common line. Okay, as we are going to do the AC analysis, we have to ground all the DC sources that are present in the circuit so that this positive supply voltage and the negative supply voltage minus V volt which are joined to the ground terminals. Here we have mentioned the ground terminal and now we are going to mark the transistor terminals. This is the base and this one is the collector terminal and this one is the emitter terminal. So which are going to be marked on the small signal equivalent circuit. Input is the base terminal and this one is emitter terminal and this one is the collector terminal. Okay, in this small signal equivalent circuit we are going to start with the equivalent circuit of the transistor. In this equivalent circuit of the transistor, from the base to emitter we have R pi resistance and voltage across this R pi is V pi, and at the output side from the collector terminal to the emitter terminal we have Gm V pi dependent current source that was mentioned here. These are all the two components that are present in the equivalent circuit of the transistor by excluding the small signal output resistance small r naught. Okay, the small r naught is I am assuming like an infinity, so it was not shown in the equivalent circuit. And from the ground terminal to the coupling capacitor Cc, we have Vi source as well as Rs resistance which was mentioned in the equivalent circuit. And we are assuming that we are working in a low frequencies so that the reactance of these coupling capacitors cannot be neglected, so which was mentioned in the equivalent circuit from the Rs resistance to the base of the transistor circuit. And we have the two resistances R1 and R2 which are from the base terminal to the ground. The equivalent resistance which is equal to R1 parallel R2 which was mentioned from the base terminal to the ground terminal. And at the output side we have a resistance Rc from the collector terminal to the ground terminal, so which was mentioned from the C terminal to the ground terminal. Along with this Rc we have a load resistor RL and a load capacitor CL which are in parallel with that. Okay, which was starting from the collector terminal and ending at the ground terminal. Okay, which was mentioned in the equivalent circuit. Next, there is a resistance Re which is from the emitter terminal to the ground terminal. So from the emitter terminal to the ground terminal we have mentioned the Re resistance. This is the small signal equivalent circuit of the CE amplifier which is having the coupling capacitor as well as the load capacitor. Okay, so now the lower corner frequency driven by the coupling capacitor can be given as FL is equal to 1 by 2 pi tau s. Okay, and the tau s is the time constant associated with the coupling capacitor Cc. So the lower corner frequency was due to the coupling capacitor and which was given by FL is equal to 1 by 2 pi tau into s, where the tau s is called as the time constant associated with the coupling capacitor Cc. Okay, so always the lower corner frequency will be affected by the coupling capacitor Cc. And similarly, the upper corner frequency fh, which was given by fh is equal to 1 by 2 pi tau p, and this is due to the load capacitor, where tau p is the time constant associated with the load capacitor CL. So this lower corner frequency will affected by the coupling capacitor CC, and the upper corner frequency will be affected by the load capacitance CL. Okay, along with the load capacitance, we may have the stay capacitance and the parasitic capacitance. Okay, those values are smaller than this load capacitance. That's why we are going to take the load capacitance as the main component for decrementing the gain at the higher frequencies. This is the input side of the small signal equivalent circuit. In order to find out the time constant which is associated with the coupling capacitor CC. Okay, so from the equivalent circuit, to find the equivalent resistance associated with the CC by setting Vi is equal to 0. In order to find out the time constant tau s, we need to set Vi is equal to 0, which means that we are going to short circuit the Vi terminal. When we short circuit the Vi terminal, at the input side, we have the two resistances. One is Rs and another one is R1 parallel R2, and which is in parallel with the input resistance of our amplifier circuit, which is Ra. If you see the resistance associated with the coupling capacitor CC, so we have an input resistance Ra for the amplifier circuit, as well as in parallel with the Ra we have R1 parallel R2 resistance, which is driven by the biasing circuit, and then this Rs is in series with the parallel combination of R1 and R2 parallel Ra. Therefore, the equivalent resistance seen from the coupling capacitor CC will be equal to Rs plus R1 parallel R2 parallel Ri resistance. Okay, this is the resistance looking seen from the CC capacitance, where the input resistance Ri is equal to R pi plus 1 plus beta into Re. Okay, so here the input resistance was Ri for the amplifier circuit, which is equal to R pi, which is the small signal input resistance, plus, so here the Re is getting multiplied by 1 plus beta, okay, which is called as the resistance reflection rule. The related time constant tau s can be given as Rs plus R1 parallel R2 in parallel with Ri, that is multiplying with the CC. Okay, so the time constant is a multiplication of the resistance associated with that capacitance into that capacitance value. Okay, similarly, the time constant related to the load capacitor CL can be given as tau p, that is equal to the resistance looking seen from the CL is RC parallel RL into that capacitance CL. Okay, so similarly the time constant due to the CL can be given as tau p, that is equal to RC parallel RL into CL. Okay, the two corner frequencies are far apart and the gain will be reaches to the maximum value in the frequency range from FL to FH, that is nothing but the midband gain. Okay, so the gain will reaches to the maximum value between the FL, the lower corner frequency, and FH, higher corner frequency, which means that in between the FH and FL is called as the medium frequency range or midband gain. Okay, so these corner frequencies are far apart. In order to maintain the medium frequency range, these lower corner frequency and higher corner frequency FH are far apart, so that we can get the maximum gain at the medium frequency range. Okay, and the bandwidth also increases when we set the FL and FH are far apart. If the FL and FH are far apart, then we can get the more bandwidth in our amplifier. Now we can calculate the midband gain by assuming the CC capacitance, which means the coupling capacity is short circuit and the CL capacitance is open circuited. Okay, so this is the equivalent circuit when we short circuit the CC capacitance and open circuit the load capacitance. Therefore, output voltage is a voltage across a parallel combination of the resistance RC and RL, which was given by minus GMV pi into RB parallel RL. Okay, here V0 is the voltage, that is equal to I into R. The output current is minus GMV pi because of the direction, which is getting multiplied with RC parallel RL. Output voltage V0 is a multiplication of output current into output resistance. So here output current is nothing but minus GMV pi, and the output resistance, which is the parallel combination of RC and RL, so which was mentioned here. Therefore, the input voltage across the R pi resistance is V pi, that is given as IB current into R pi. Now what is IB current? IB current is the current flowing in the base of the transistor and the total applied current is IA. Therefore, we can calculate the IB current by using the current division rule. Therefore, IB is equal to the total applied current IE into opposite resistance R1 parallel R2 divided by the total resistance R1 parallel R2 plus RI, input resistance of our amplifier circuit. Okay. Therefore, we can calculate the IB value from here. Now we need to get II current in order to get the voltage gain. Therefore, II will be equal to, II is the current flowing in the input side circuit of our amplifier, which is a ratio of voltage to the resistance. Therefore, in this loop, applied voltage is Vi and divided by the total resistance in the circuit. So Rs plus the parallel combination of the input resistance Ri and R1 parallel R2. Okay. So Vi divided by Rs plus R1 parallel R2 in parallel with the Ri, input resistance of our amplifier circuit. Therefore, we can get the voltage gain AV, which is V0 divided by Vi. We have to substitute all these equations V pi, IB, IA in the equation number 1. Okay. Then we can get the V0 divided by Vi. We have to substitute the IA current in IB current equation here, and we can substitute the IB equation in V pi equation. Thereafter, we can substitute the V pi in the V0 equation. Okay. Therefore, we can get the voltage gain, which is equal to Gm into R pi into RC parallel RL into this one R1 parallel R2 divided by R1 parallel R2 plus Ri into 1 by Rs plus R1 parallel R2 parallel Rl. This is the voltage gain equation for our amplifier, which is having the coupling capacitor as well as the load capacitor. Okay. This is the maximum gain associated with the CE amplifier, which is having coupling and load capacitor at medium frequency range. Now we are going to see the combined effect of the coupling and bypass capacitor. When a circuit contains the multiple capacitors, then the frequency response analysis will become complex. Okay. So whenever our circuit is containing more number of capacitors, then the frequency response associated with that will be very complex, which means that the derivation is very complex. This is a CE amplifier circuit which containing the two coupling capacitor and one bypass capacitor. Here the coupling capacitors are CC1 and CC2 and the bypass capacitor is CE. And here the circuit was operating with the two DC voltages. One is VEE, another one is the VCC. Okay. So which is emitter supply voltage and the collector supply voltage. Okay. So Vs and Rs are forming the source, and then R1 and R2 are forming voltage divider bias, and Re is the emitter resistance and Rc is the collector resistance and RL is the load resistance. When the circuit is having all these capacitors, then the transfer function includes all the components including the coupling capacitor as well as the bypass capacitors. Therefore, we are going to explain the combined effect of the coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor using some graphical analysis. In the case 1, if you see, the bypass capacitor is assumed to be short circuit. I am assuming the bypass capacitor is short circuited. Therefore, the individual capacitances C1 and C2 reactance as well as the combined effect of the CC1 capacitance and CC2 capacitor is given in the plot. We are going to see the plots which are showing the individual effect of the coupling capacitor as well as the combined effect of the coupling capacitor. So this graph was drawn between the frequency versus gain of our amplifier, which is called as the frequency response. Okay, if you see this black line, the solid black line, which represents the C2 capacitance effect, which means that CC2 capacitance effect, output coupling capacitor effect, and the C1 is the input coupling capacitor. So that is the pink line, that is the effect of the input coupling capacitor. And if you combine the both C1 and C2, then the combined effect was shown in the dotted line here. This is the combined effect of the both coupling capacitors together. Okay, as expected, the two capacitors both are acting at the same time. Slope will be equal to 40 dB per decade or the 12 dB per octave. So the slope here is the plus 40 dB per decade. Okay, in terms of the octaves, we can represent it like 12 decibels per octave. For the individual capacitance, we will get it as the 20 dB per decade or else 6 dB per octave. Okay, the slope will be like this. Okay, the slope for individual coupling capacitor reactance will be 20 dB per decade, and slope for the combined of these coupling capacitor effects, which will be 40 dB per decade. Since the poles are not far apart in the actual circuit, we cannot consider the effect of each capacitor individually. Here the poles are not far apart, even though if you take the lower corner frequency, that is not much far apart. Here if you see, it was lies between 1 Hz to 10 Hz, which means that very small difference between the corner frequencies of each coupling capacitor. Okay, suppose the corner frequency of the C2 will be at some 5 Hz and the corner frequency of C1 will be at 10 Hz. Okay, so that is not that much of far apart, so we cannot show the each capacitance effect individually. So we are showing the combined effect like this. Using this combined effect, we can get the slope of plus 40 dB per decade at the input side. In the case 2, we are assuming along with the coupling capacitor, the bypass capacitor is also acting. Okay, the plot shows the effect of the bypass capacitor, the effect of the two coupling capacitor, and net effect of the three capacitors together. Okay, so here you can see this is a effect of the bypass capacitor CE, this solid line, which is the effect of the bypass capacitor, and this curve one which was started from 1 Hz, that is the response of C1 and C2 capacitors together, which means that CC1 capacitor and CC2 capacitor, because of the two coupling capacitor alone. Okay, this is the frequency response at the input side, and the only effect of the bypass capacitor which was shown in the solid line. Okay, so the net effect, which is a combination of these two coupling capacitor as well as this emitter bypass capacitor, which was shown here. Okay, this last one which was started from the 2 Hz, that is the frequency response of the combined effect of the coupling capacitor CC1, CC2 as well as the bypass capacitor CE. Here we are assuming some values like CE is equal to 50 microfarads and C1 is 1 microfarad and C2 is equal to 2 microfarads, like that. Okay, when all three capacitors are taken into account, the slope is continuously changing. There is no definitive corner frequency. Okay, here you can observe the slope is continuously changing here. There is no definite corner frequency. However, at 150 Hz, we may get the lower corner frequency. Okay, and which is the frequency defined as the lower corner frequency or lower cutoff frequency. So this is the combined effect of the coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor, and also we have seen the combined effect of the coupling capacitor as well as the load capacitance. Okay, so when we use the coupling capacitor, load capacitor and bypass capacitor, then what is happening? Our frequency response is getting different slopes because of the different time constants. Okay, because of having different time constant, we are getting different slopes for our frequency response curve. In the next class, we are going to see the expanded hybrid pi equivalent circuit.